Namaste. Hello everyone, it's Michelle, and I've had a request on how do you do a full lotus posture. Well, a full lotus posture is something that you do when you're super flexible in the hips and in the knees. So it's very hard to do on a body that's stiff or cold first thing in the morning. So we're going to practice the aspects of doing a full lotus posture after we do a hip opening sequence. So get settled, be comfortable, get props if you need them. And we're going to start by just letting the head come forward, feeling the back of the neck stretch. Lengthening through the back of the neck. Where's your breath? So while we're in this posture, we're thinking, why do we practice yoga? What do we want from this practice? We try to get in touch with our hips, seeing what kind of length and flexibility we're going to get into the legs. We allow the head to come up. Find the breath. Feel the sits bones pressing into the floor. And again, setting the intention for your practice. And so for today's practice, we're going to let those eyes open and we're going to start in down dog. Really get deep into the practice. So from here, we're just going to come into a down dog and just bend and stretch. Getting the body warm. So maybe you've already had a warm up. Maybe you've practiced or stretched today. Maybe this is the end of the day for you, so you're kind of flexible. So this is easy, but perhaps you haven't stretched today. So don't rush your body. Enjoy the stretches. We bend and stretch the knee. Pushing through the heels. Rotate to a plank. And you notice that we've changed this, and now that's an abdominal stretch. But all of that change happened in the rotation of the hip. So we're going to lift the hip up again and shift back, lengthening through the hamstrings to the shoulders. Nice big stretch here. We're going to just take that right leg, lift it up, allow the legs to open and bend the knee. So maybe this is kind of hard for you. Well, then just keep the leg squared off. Nice stretch with the leg bent here. I'm getting opening through the hip flexor, and I'm getting a nice long hamstring stretch in the left leg. If you want a little more of a challenge, you can put that left forearm down, really let this leg, this stinger here in the scorpion, get really big, and square off the hips, coming back to that down dog, and bring the leg forward for a lunge. We're going to go ahead and sit that knee down. So if your knee is tender, maybe you want a blanket under your knee. And we're going to just come up. Nice stretch here. So we're getting that left hip flexor to stretch, the front of the hip. Nice straight spine. Don't banana belly here. Try to tuck without losing your knee. Very nice stretch here. And let's just twist it a little. We're going to take that left arm, place it on the right knee, put the hands in prayer. Nice twist. Where's your breath here? Lunging it forward so you can continue to feel the front of that hip flexor stretch. Come back to the intention of your practice. We're going to let the hands come down. We're going to turn those toes under. We're going to lift up. We're going to step back into down dog. Bending and stretching. Now we're going to lift that left leg up. So from here we're going to lift and then bend, straighten and open through that left hip. Feel it stretch. Maybe here you want to put that right forearm down and really get a big stretch. And straighten the hips out. Back to that one-legged dog. And we're going to pull that leg through. Again, we're going to put that knee right down on the floor. And again, you can put your blanket here. Keep the blanket as long as you like. Just be mindful not to trip on it as you come back and forth. Really press forward here, lengthening through the front of the right hip. We're going to take the right arm now and place it on that left knee and come into a twist. Try to get those elbows to come up, but try not to dump out in the shoulder. Press up out of the shoulder. See, here's the lift. Up, nice lift here. Leaning forward, feeling the front of the hip flexor stretch. Where's your breath? The gaze is at that left elbow. Nice steady breath here. And we're going to release that down. Placing the hands down, we're going to turn the toes, step back into down dog. So we're going to add in this tiny little sun salutation that can be done on the floor to help stretch those hips. We're going to come down to the knees and then down into child's pose. Stretch it out. Feels good in those hip flexors. We get a chance to center up through the back. Releasing the lower back. Lengthen through the shoulders. Find your breath. And we're going to rotate up to table. From table, we're going to just lower ourselves down to the floor. Keeping those elbows in, we're going to come up into a cobra boat, a modified cobra. So we're just lifting the feet, pulling the shoulders back, rolling up. So we're using those hamstrings and the glute muscles to lift the legs, working the back part of the hip. But we get this lovely back bend in the same process here. Nice full breath. And slowly come down. We're going to push up and back to table. Turn those toes back to that down dog. And bend and stretch it out. Wonderful job here. So we're going to work on continuing to work through the hip. So we lift that right leg. Open through the hip. Again, if you want to drop that elbow, you can just for a little extra stretch. We square back off. Bend that knee and pull it through. Again, we're going to put that left knee down, soften the foot, and come back up. Now from here, we're going to toe heel that right foot out just a little bit to the edge of your mat. We're going to take the left arm and see if maybe we can place it on the floor. Maybe you need a block, and that's okay. If you can get that left arm down on a block or on the floor, we're now going to add that right arm. So if you can get here, you have a really good stretch going on in the right hip. But maybe you want a little more. You can turn those left toes under and straighten that left leg out. Really nice stretch. And we're going to sit that left knee down. We're going to slowly come back up. And we're going to toe heel that right foot back in. Right arm comes on the outside. Release the back foot. Walk the hands to the outside of that right leg. Where's your breath? Come back to the intention of why we practice. And we're going to come back to the center. Turn the toes. Step back to the down dog. Bending and stretching. Let's move to the left side. We lift that left leg and we open through the hip. Again, if you'd like, you can place that right arm down. You don't have to. You can just stay in down dog. And we're going to square out, lifting that leg. Bring that left leg forward, place. Now we're going to toe heel this left foot out to the side of the mat. We're going to place that right arm down. And if you can, put some blocks or a book to help lift it. And place that left arm down. Really nice stretch happening here in the back and in that left leg. We're going to turn the right toes under and lift just a little bit. See if maybe you have a little more stretch here. Where's your breath? Just a little bit longer. I'm going to sit that knee down, walk those hands back up. We're going to toe walk the foot in, and then we're going to twist to the other side. Resting that back foot. Nice steady breath, really nice stretch here. See if maybe you can lunge a little more to get a stretch. And gently release. Coming back to the center, we're going to turn the toes under. And we're going to step back to down dog. And then we're going to put one of those small flows back in here. We're going to put the knees down. Come back to child's pose, lengthening out. From here, we rotate to table. From table, down to the floor. Small cobra boat. Get those feet up, turn the heart back. Smile when you practice. Feel the breath going into the floor. Nice back bend, tighten the glutes. And lowering back down. We push up to table, turning the toes, back to down dog. Lift the right leg again and again open. If you'd like, you can put that left forearm down. Straighten back up. And pull that right leg through. Now we can sit that left leg down again. We're going to practice pigeon. So we're going to soften that left foot. And we're going to toe heel the right foot over. Then rest the knee down. Come down onto those forearms and try squaring up the hips. So you're going to try to pull that right hip back, left hip forward. So maybe you have to be here in the beginning, and that's okay. If having your leg squared off is too difficult, bring the ankle in closer to the groin. Having the foot active will help protect the tendons in the knee. So you want to just find a place that's comfortable for you here. Nice, steady breath. Releasing into it the best you can. Maybe you can make it down closer to the floor. And then maybe some of you who have a more of advanced practice or a very flexible hips, maybe you can come up and try to reach around, grab the foot behind you, and roll down. Nice steady breath here. You choose what's best for your practice today. And we're going to slowly come out of those postures, coming up. We're going to practice grabbing that back foot. So we're going to bring that right hand over, and we're going to lift the left leg. And maybe lifting the left leg is all you've got today. And that's fine. If you have got a little more, well then you can reach back and pull the foot in. If you're very flexible, maybe you're going to put that foot in the elbow and pull the palm in and grab the palms. Find your breath here. Don't focus on anything else other than the function of the pose and how it makes you feel. And release. And we're going to do the other side. We turn the toes down. We're going to press up. Come back into down dog. Walk it out. Get the circulation going back into your legs. We're going to lift the left leg now. Open through the hip. Maybe you drop that right arm. Maybe you don't. And square off the hips. And pull that left leg through, sitting the right knee down. So from here, we're going to toe heel the foot over. So we're walking that foot over, we're dropping the knee, and we're coming into this pigeon posture. So again, maybe this is what you have. Maybe you put a blanket under your hip. You're keeping that right foot active, protecting your left foot active, keeping the knee nice and stable. If this is too much, you pull the foot in closer. We're going to bring the hands or the shins, forearms, down to the floor. Nice stretch. Maybe you can come all the way down to the floor. And if your hips are quite flexible, you can practice coming up and come around and grab. And lengthen out. Finding whatever posture you're going to use today. Nice steady breath. Remember why you practice. Feeling the depth of that posture. We release, we're going to come back up. placing the left hand in the center, lifting the right leg, and maybe that's what you've got today. It's no big deal. It's your practice. We're just doing it together. Maybe you can grab that foot and bring it in. Nice quad stretch. Maybe you can work those toes into the bend of your arm, bringing the palm in, and we can lace the fingers here for that prep, mermaid prep. Nice steady breath. And gently releasing down. We're going to turn those toes and come back into a down dog. And again, let's bend and stretch it out. We're going to put those knees down. This time we're going to make them really wide. And come into a deep child's pose. Stretching it out, feeling the lower back release. Where's your breath? From here, we're going to come up to table. And from here, lower down to the floor. And cobra boat. Lift the feet, lift the heart. Elbows are back. Where's your breath? Lowering down. We're going to press up to table. From table to down dog. And from down dog, we're going to step the left foot forward and rotate to the right. So we're in a wide angle forward bend. Now, what we're going to practice now is kind of a horse riding stance. So when your knees bend, you want your feet to be in the same direction as your knees. So we're going to try to turn those heels in, turn the toes out, so that when you bend, your knees go in the same direction as your feet. And then we're just going to come up onto our thighs. Just a little bit of quad work here. Breathe through it. We're almost to the mat for our practice. And I know you're thinking, I can feel this. And that's a good thing. Just keep working it just a little bit more. Finding your breath, remembering why you practice. And now we're going to bring those hands down to the floor. Toe heel those feet in and sit into a squat. Hands to the heart. So maybe squatting's difficult for you. You could sit on some blocks. You can come up taller like this if you'd like. But if you sit on the blocks, that's going to hold your hips up while you practice your twists. So we're starting with our hands in prayer. Nice steady breath. We're going to take this right hand and we're going to place it on the floor over here by the right toes. Now we're going to continue to look at that right hand to protect the neck, but we're going to lift that left hand up in the air. Nice stretch here. You see that my arm is in front of my right shin, so I get a nice stretch. I'm going to bring the hands back together. Let's try the other side. Left hand goes in front of that left thigh. Right hand goes up. Again, I'm making contact with my eyes on the left hand so I can protect my neck. Bring the hands back together. Let's see if we can get a little circles going on in here. So you feel the shins activate, you feel the hips activate, and change the direction of the circle. And let's see if we can add a bind to that posture. So we're going to take that right hand, place it down. Left hand comes up. So we're repeating this so we feel a little more comfortable. We're going to try to turn the palms up and we're going to grab the hands behind us. Maybe that happens today. Maybe it doesn't and that's okay. Maybe that's what you're going to work for next week. We're going to gently release, come back to the center and try the other side. So we're going to extend that left hand out. Still looking at the left hand, we let the right hand lift and reach back and grab. Nice steady breath. Feeling the stretch. You can really feel your hips now and the shins. And gently release. Bringing the hands to the front. We need to stretch that out. We're going to bring the hands to the floor. Put the weight into the hands. Help press the legs up. Oh, we feel that circulation. We're going to toe heel those feet together. And just stretch that out. We're looking at the knees, not the feet. Shake your head no. Shake your head yes. And then we're going to gently come down to a comfortable seated position. And straighten the legs. Leaning forward, forward bend. We're trying to bring the navel towards the thigh. And you'll notice there's a lot more flexibility than when you first started your practice. Lengthen it out. We're going to bring the right leg across the left. Tall spine, leaning forward. And from here, we're going to come up. And we're going to bring that foot next to the knee, rotating to the right. Tall spine. And back to the center. And release. Left side. Bring that left leg over the right, leaning forward. Nice stretch. You're trying to bring the navel towards the thigh, nice straight back. The feet are active. And as we lift up, we're going to bring the foot next to the knee and rotate around. Tall spine. And back to the center. Release and lengthen. From here, wide angle forward bend seated. So we're just going to spread out just a little bit here. Lengthening through these adductors. We're going to take the right shoulder towards that right knee. So we're trying not to lift the left butt cheek up off the floor. We're going to lift that left arm up. And it pushes the hip down into the floor on the right side. It helps put the shoulder into the thigh on the right side, and then let your left arm drop. Maybe it touches your foot, maybe it doesn't. That's not the intention. The intention is to lean and lengthen through the side body, not to touch the foot. Feel the full expression of this posture. Try to continue to press this side of your hip down on the floor. Where's your breath? Are you holding your breath in this posture? Then you're trying too hard. Back out of it just a little. And we're going to come up. Let's switch sides. So you're going to bring that left arm across your body. Left shoulder comes down, right arm comes up, and that weight presses you down. You're keeping the right hip down. You're going to lengthen over. Maybe you touch your foot, maybe you don't. It's okay, but feel this long leanness that you have through the right side of your body. Feel the lengthening inside of the legs. And we're going to come back up. You're going to bring those legs back together by helping. You're going to pull them right into cobbler's posture and leaning forward. So this posture is a symmetrical posture, which really helps shake out the asymmetrical postures we were doing earlier. Really release that out. And as we come up, we're going to do a cow face posture. So we're going to bring that left leg on the bottom, right leg on the top. And we're going to see if this is something that we can do. Both sits bones are flat on the floor. So maybe this is too difficult for your hips. Maybe you have to extend that left leg out. And if you can, that's fine. So we're going to stay in here just a little bit longer, leaning forward, finding your breath. And come up. And change. And lean forward. And as we can come up, we're going to just straighten those legs out. So now we're ready to see if maybe we can come into that full lotus posture. So I'm going to show you step by step how I would practice. So we're going to take this right foot And we're going to see if maybe we can take this knife edge of the foot and place it in the bend of the left hip crease. Now what's happening here is you want the femur to roll out and the tibia to roll down. So some space is happening here. It's opening up so the knee can come down. So not only is this hard on the hip, it can be hard on the knee. So first you'll just practice keeping one foot folded in, and this would be a half lotus. So you can practice just leaning forward or just keeping your hand here. Don't overly press it because you could damage your knee, and just lengthen forward. So you're keeping this right foot active to help keep this knee protected. And then we'll try the other side. So we'll release this, extend, same thing here. I like to kind of just grab the foot, holding it maybe a little bit of a cradle here, and then place it in and rolling down. So you want to feel like the tibia here is rolling out and the femur's rolling down, making a space in the knee. And you're going to keep this foot active. We're going to lean forward. And release. So now we're going to try to do the full posture. One last little hip opening that we can do to kind of get the hip joint loose, and then we're going to do the whole posture, is rocking the baby. So we have that right leg and we're just going to rock it back and forth. Finding your breath. Remember why you practice, the intention that you set at the beginning of this practice, to have open hips, to be able to do this full lotus posture. Keep that in your mind as you practice. And let's switch. Rock out the baby on the left side. And now let's try the full posture. So I like to start with the right side. Most of us are right-handed or right leg dominant. I know that's not everyone, but most of the times that's the truth. So we're going to start with that one because it's probably going to be more flexible. So we grab that foot, again, placing it in the crease and putting the knee down. So I begin to pull this leg in so that that femur can roll out, the tibia can roll down, and I take that same cradled posture and I'm going to pull that foot in and place. So that's how I would come into my full lotus posture. My knee does come up a little bit. Your knee may, if this is a little uncomfortable for you, you can sit on a bolster, which will put both knees forward. So, right leg, then left leg. You have your full lotus. Find your breath. Breathe in what you were able to accomplish in today's practice. Hands to the heart. Bowing forward, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me.